Hey everybody, welcome to Airsoftology Mondays, the show that answers your questions, helps you out in a pinch, and also really needs to get this place packed up in a hurry. I'm your host, Jonathan Higgs, and yes, if you guys watched last week, you know this is the last week in the studio. Actually, it's kind of a lie. Well, it's not really a lie. It's the next to last week, you'll see a studio shot. You're actually gonna see next week's here in the studio as well, because I'm taking a lost episodes approach, or a lost questions approach. I'm using a lot of questions that you guys have asked in the past that unfortunately I've had to cut from different videos over the past 2 or 3 weeks. So if you've asked a question on the show in the past 2 or 3 weeks, including this show, I'm gonna take some from this one as well that maybe don't make it, you'll be on the next show, so stay tuned. Also, everybody, thank you so much. You guys cleared out those patches. I showed you I only had like 16 of them left. They went in like 10 minutes after I posted the video, but I got something for you. I've got new patches in, and I know I was kind of holding off on this one for you. So these are the new patches. They are in a chameleon green is the color I'm calling it, not OD. It's a little brighter than OD, something a little more unique. I think there's enough OD patches out there right now, and I wanted to do something a little more interesting out there, kind of stand out, kind of go with that whole yellow theme and brighter theme. So yeah, I've got brand new chameleon green patches. They're up on the website right now. Same price, nothing's changed, free shipping anywhere in the world. So the price you see there, doesn't matter where you live, as long as I can ship it there. I think like there's a handful of countries where we got like trade embargoes, but my guess is you're probably not watching it from one of those countries. I don't think there's a lot of fans in Iran right now. I'm just saying that, or North Korea. But yeah, guys, have them on the site. They're gonna be $7 shipped to your door worldwide. So check them out. I'll have them a link probably here below, definitely in the description, and probably also at the end of the video. Also, you know it's the big trip time, right? So I'm gonna let you guys in on exactly where I'm gonna be going right out of the gate. So starting on the 9th or 10th, that weekend is Operation Irene in Muscatatuck, and that's near Butlerville, Indiana. So the next week we're gonna be moving to Columbus, Ohio. We'll be going to the Cleveland area, so I think we'll be going to Canton, and then Macron, I think, is the name of the city. I'm sorry if I mispronounced it. Be hitting a couple shops in that area, then also Erie, Pennsylvania, and we'll be moving on up to Buffalo, New York. That's all in the first week. I mean, that is a huge blast to get all the way. We'll be in Buffalo for the weekend, though, so I'll be actually able to play at a field there. I will have, actually, I think 2 stops in Buffalo. Stay tuned on the website. You'll need to go to airsoftology.com or the Facebook page. That's probably the best place to be your Facebook page and social media. So facebook.com/airsoftology for all of the updates. And of course, I'll have video updates here as well. And if you live in those cities, make sure to check with your local fields and shops to see if and when I'm going to be coming by. Moving past that, I'll have some more updates. I know I've got Connecticut in the works. I know you guys have been asking for some shops there, as well as a few over in Eastern New York, Maine, and that area, and Massachusetts. I think that's going to round out the next week. So stay tuned on that. I think I got a stop in Rhode Island that might cap out week 2 on the trip. But stay tuned, and like I said, I will have a full list and a full calendar as each week progresses. So that's it for announcements. And before we get into questions, just remember, if you want to get your question in the show, it's super simple. Put it in the comment section below. Vote up your favorites and ask really good questions down there. The more creative, the more interesting questions you have, the better. Also, as you move through in those cities, let me know where you want me to be. You've been doing a fantastic job like posting up, and I've been using that recommendation list that you've been providing in the comment section to pick where I'll be going. Also, this trip is being sponsored. So I do have a sponsor for this. Elite Force is actually helping me get around, which is fantastic because gas ain't cheap. So we'll be visiting all these sites thanks to those guys. So yeah, it'll be pretty cool to get on the road and see all of you guys in your hometowns. But enough about all that. Let's dive on into what you're really here for, and that is your questions. John Carroll writes, "Hey Jonathan, what do you consider taking airsoft too seriously?" I would probably say sleeping in full gear with your gun. That's probably going a little overboard. I think also the people that really berate other people for their thoughts and what they like to do in airsoft. I think that there's a lot of great ways to play this hobby and this sport. I mean, from speedsoft to milsim to running out and playing skirmishes to, you know, everything in between. There's a lot of fantastic ways. And I think the guys that take it too seriously are the ones that really bag hard on an entire group just because of the way they play. That's just my opinion. Like I said, I have certain play styles I really enjoy and some I don't enjoy quite as much, but still, I mean, it's airsoft, so it's all fun to me. I mean, so it's like, is it like enjoyable or really enjoyable? I mean, there's nothing that stinks, but at the end of the day, if the people out there, the ones that are really just throwing hate at what somebody wants to do, that's probably taking it too seriously in my book. Ross Fidel writes, "Hey John, I need your help. My little cousin sprayed silicone oil in all of my Echo M28 sniper mags. How can I get it all out?" Man, that sucks. Unfortunately with the M27 mags, you're not gonna be able to disassemble them easily. Usually I would say, okay, if it's a high cap, take it apart, or mid cap, you can usually get the spring out by removing a little piece on the bottom of a mid cap like an M4 mag. But with an M28 magazine, those tiny little sniper rifle mags, you're not gonna really be able to break it down that easily. So with that in mind, if you can't take it apart, some of them do have screws on the side, so look for small screws, be careful and be mindful that when you do take it apart, there's a spring in there, it's under tension. But if you can't do that, one thing I would probably do is look at using something like a natural solvent like Simple Green and some water and actually soaking them in it, actually creating a bath, soaking it, you agitate it, kind of shuffle it around, make sure you get a lot of soap in there and it breaks down that silicone oil. Something like that would work pretty darn well. And Simple Green is very safe on plastics, so you're not going to have any issues on the plastics and the metals inside of there. You will need to rinse it extremely well, so multiple times, get that residue of the Simple Green out. And then when you're done with that, let it dry out entirely. So don't just like, okay, I'm gonna throw it in here, start using it again, because then you're gonna introduce water in your gun. On a sniper rifle, it's not the end of the world to have water in there, but you want it dried out so you're not dealing with wet BBs and it'll mess with your hop-up adjustment. So I think all that in there, you should be okay. I found really good help with that Simple Green. You could move up to other degreasers. I'm not sure how they would end up, messing with the plastics though. So be sure that it's plastic safe, be sure that it's metal safe. Most degreasers are metal safe, but make sure it's plastic safe before you pick it. But like I said, maybe full strength Simple Green should be the trick. Faizan Ali writes, "Hey Jonathan, I have a question. Do you even squat?" Nah, brah, but I do lift. Sean O'Connor writes, "Hey Jonathan, what are your thoughts on AEPs? Do you think they're good for games, or do you think they should be used just for backyard plinking? Love your videos, thanks." I've had a couple AEPs in the past. Briefly owned an MP7 for a while. I've had a Glock 18 by Tokyo Marui AEP, and then the CYMA or CYMA clone of that. And if you guys are wondering what an AEP is, you're going, well, I know what an AEG is and a GBB for gas blowback. An AEP is an automatic electric pistol. So it's built internally similar to an AEG, so it has gears and piston and all that kind of stuff, but it's in a very small format, like in a pistol format. It is typically lower powered. They do make upgrades. I mean, I know 9Ball and Laylax made some fantastic upgrades for the Marui AEPs. And you had like the Scorpion, you had like the Tokyo Marui MP7 AEP, like I said, the Glock 18, and I think there were like one or two others. I think there might have been like a 93R AEP, and let me know. I'm kind of going way back in my memory here. But yeah, other than those and having upgrades, and we're talking getting them maybe shooting like 330 feet per second, all right? Now, like out of the box, they're in the low twos, like 220, 225 with a .20 gram BB. So can they work? Yeah, I mean, especially if they're full auto, like that Glock 18C was great for up close, if you just need to clear a room, if you were playing a sniper role and you need to have something that was somewhat reliable and you could carry a bunch of those little mags. The mags are like tiny little sticks, so you could carry just a ton of those on you. But as for an effective primary or like in a pistol game, not as much. If you're dealing with anything with range, so if you're dealing with like 30 feet or out, the FPS is just so low that the travel speed of the BB could be a disadvantage to you. Anything closer than that though, like I said, a backup, if you're doing like clearing rooms or something like that, it's probably just fine. But if you're gonna invest the money, because those things can be kind of pricey, a gas blowback pistol might do you a little better. Willem Carter writes, "Can you use WD-40 as a lubricant?" In your gun, I would tell you to stay probably away from that. I wouldn't recommend WD-40 as anything. I do use some firearm lubricants on my slide rails, very thin, depending on the gas. We're talking about gas blowback guns here, by the way. Depending on the gas blowback pistol and the power source. Like the CO2s seem to have a little better because they have a lot more kick to them. When it comes to WD-40, I would definitely say no, just because it could be corrosive to some of the plastic parts inside, and definitely your bucking and things like that. I mean, you would stay clear of that. It's petroleum based. Like I said, I do use some firearms lubricant, but very sparingly on the outer rails, like metal on metal on a slide, like a gas blowback pistol. Like something like this, I would use it to lube like the rails here on the inside. So take the top off here, like probably like this. I'll just go ahead and show you guys real quick. spread that out. So I would use it like in the rails here on the inside, put a real thin layer, and then like where it mates up to these rails right here and then in here. And then also maybe right in there with that hammer in that area, I would use some firearm type lubricant or some thicker lubricant. But as for WD-40, no, it's too thin. It's gonna get knocked around and sprayed around. I would recommend using some kind of silicone oil. Murder oil is good. There's a lot of stuff out there. Neutral makes some good stuff as well that are all good alternatives to WD-40 and are gonna be safe for your airsoft gun. All right, guys, that's it for questions this week, which means it's time for the Code Red headset's video recommendation of the week. And this one, I went and dug in my history, went deep, and I really enjoy this film. In fact, it's one that I actually go back and watch quite often, and it is called Ghost Recon Alpha. It's put on by Ubisoft, and it was for the Ghost Recon Alpha release back in 2012. So this thing's got a few years on it, like 3 years old, but it's still holds up. I mean, to have a film this well produced, I mean, this is Hollywood budget level production here for a video game was really cool to do. Usually they kind of go with the game release. They don't really do the live action thing, or they have, you know, paid actors to do commercials, you know, for like a Call of Duty release, but not something like this. It's shot like a fan film, but shot at such a production level that it might as well be like a short film in the studios, like to go in the movie theater and watch. So yeah, if you guys haven't seen this one, because it's, like I said, it's a few years old, it may have flown under your radar, definitely want to give this a watch. It is top-notch, fantastic, and it's definitely one of those you can add probably on your rewatch list and come back to every now and then. It's Ghost Recon Alpha. It's by Ubisoft. It's on their official channel, and I'll have a link to the video in the description below. Well, guys, that's it for this episode of Airsoftology Mondays. As always, thank you for joining me here, and thank you for helping out in the comment section below. I love the dialogue and the conversation you guys have, because unfortunately, I wish I could answer every single question every week, but you guys put so many great ones down there. I do read them all, but it's so awesome that you do help each other out. So there's a lot of great information down there, and you have such a great community down there. Also, remember, if you want to get your question in the show, just put it down in the comments, vote your favorites up, and I'll get them on a future show. And remember, next week's going to be kind of the lost videos or lost question show. So if you've asked them in the past or even this week and you didn't get it on the show, make sure to tune back in. Also, don't forget, I'm hitting the road on the tour. So remember, it's Columbus, I've got Cincinnati, Erie, and Buffalo. So that's where I'm gonna be. Those are like the first four, and that's like the Cincinnati area, or actually not Cincinnati, Cleveland. I'm sorry, I got the wrong city there. Cleveland area. So I'm gonna be like north and south of Cleveland. I will have that information. Make sure to check with your local shops if you live in those areas to see when I'll be stopping by. We'll probably have more information a little bit later this week at the shops as the final details of the dates get out there. And of course, I'm going to Irene next week, so that's gonna be awesome. I'll try to get some good photos and stuff uploaded from that. And of course, that means gameplay footage. And Copperhead is this week. I know I told you last week, I put up that other video. If you guys didn't watch it, check it out. It was a funny video from a buddy of mine getting a great shot with an M79 grenade launcher. So I'll put it over here in the corner or something. If you guys want to watch it, you can click the card if you're on mobile to watch that video. But yeah, all of that. And then don't forget, new patches in the store. Link to the store is down there below. So until I see you out there in person or here again on this show next week, go out, play some Airsoft, have some fun. But no matter what you do, call your freaking hits.